Okay, thank you, Eric. I see Karen has popped up as well. We love to see that as well. And welcome to those of you who are new as well to the space. This is a scene. Honestly, I don't know what to call it. It's a scene. Anything can happen. When I'm away, anything happens. When I'm here, anything happens. So it's just like whatever. Right? This comes out of the profound lineage of medicine Buddha. This is work that the Buddha taught, right? It was work that was expounded upon through later generations. This particular lineage, of course, is Tibetan, right? Tibetan Buddhism, the Kagyu lineage, where we are essentially praying into emptiness for emptiness to shape itself into medicine, right? And that medicine ultimately is getting clear about the nature of all phenomena. So when we talk about medicine Buddha, we talk about healing. What we're ultimately the most ultimate healing is awakening, you know, um, beginning or really just seeing, the illusion of everything, like cutting through the realness of everything, including the realness and the illusionary arising of ego itself, right? The ego is the thing that anchors us into this very severe misunderstanding, right? This sense of self, right? And we're trying to develop a deeper intuition as to the nature of this so that when we see clearer, we begin to experience much more freedom, much more fluidity, right? Most of us feel very bound. This is a very carceral experience that we're having. We feel very limited by our bodies. We feel very limited by the physical world. It's hard for us to dream beyond or to move beyond or to dance beyond, the what feels like the solidity of the phenomenal world, you know? And this is essentially a dream that we're having. And so our practice is about awakening from this dream in the same way we awaken from an actual dream that we have when we're sleeping, right? When you wake up in the dream, often all the fear, the anxiety that you had in the dream just kind of dissipates because you're like, oh, this is a dream, right? And I can wake up anytime that I want, right? This is what we're trying to get to. Our healing, again, therefore, is deeply bound in our awareness, our perception of reality, of what's going on and what isn't going on, right? So every Buddha does that, like every Buddha is arising to point us back to emptiness. Buddhas arise from emptiness. Well, we all do, but Buddhas consciously arise from emptiness. We are not consciously arising, right? Our existence is just a reaction, right? And that reaction is just a distraction. So we are actually distracted. That's the experience that we're having. We're just very distracted from from the emptiness itself, right? We're distracted by the phenomena that arises out of emptiness, right? And but what we're trying to get back to is the attunement to emptiness itself, right? You got tricked by your own drag. That's what happened, right? And happy Pride, by the way, right? Pride was a riot. So let's get to throwing bricks and shit again. But and aim those towards the government. Anyhow, I know I just got put on some list, but anyhow, I think that Like we got lost in the drag and we thought, oh, the drag is the point. It's not the point. The drag is just a play. This is just performance, right? We're trying to get back to understanding that this is just a performance. Like this isn't what's really happening. This isn't like real. Like this is a performance and we can have fun in the performance as long as we don't forget that it is a performance. And what happened is that most of us forgot, you know, we forgot and we ended up in this experience called samsara, right? And then the performance got real fucking real, right? And then we forgot that we have this agency to transcend, to cut through this, right? And this is why, therefore, we have these profound traditions and practices and religions and spiritual paths that are trying to remind us, of one, who we are on the relative, but ultimately what we are in the absolute, the ultimate, right? To remind us of who we are. And as we are reminded, or as we are remembering who and what we are, we come into balance. That balance is, in one way, our capacity to hold space for everything that arises. Holding space, meaning that we reduce our reactivity. The reduction of reactivity is what actually begins to bring space and spaciousness back into focus. And when spaciousness is back into focus, then the nature of all phenomena, right? I would say space opens up the door to the nature of all phenomena, which is emptiness. So without space, there can be no recognition and no embodiment of emptiness. Like we need space to have, I don't know, to feel the capacity to rest, to open, to surrender, right? That surrendering is how we enter into the remembrance or how we remember emptiness itself, right? So, one of the most ultimate teachings around practice is learning how to rest the mind, you know, to rest it. We're resting this mechanism of the conceptual mind is always creating, is always generating. Right? And that takes a lot of effort. And strangely enough, like it's exhausting to rest, right? Because we're so acclimated to creating and sustaining and maintaining, But what does it mean just to come back to just let things be? Right? If your house is a mess, then just let it be, which is a hard thing for some of us to do. This doesn't mean that we've become passive. Actually, the opposite happens. You become more passionate about things. You start caring even more because you're able to see more, you're able to experience more because you're not reacting all the time and therefore distracting yourself. So when you start resting all of that reactivity, much more comes into focus, right? And you're able to start connecting to real responses, not just reactivity, but to real responses to what is being perceived, often for the first time. Right? So feeling that first that aspiration, like what does it feel like to have this aspiration to really rest, right? To really kind of let go and allow things to just be there, to come and go, to allow the anger to be there, to allow the grief to be there, to be present, but just to let it be there. knowing that it is being held by space itself. Like we don't have to do all this work to hold. That's why holding space is so um misleading, because you're not doing as much as that phrase suggests, right? Holding space is just allowing everything to have its place, right? And I don't have to be so busy and so like involved in everything. I just let things be. And that opens up this space for me to choose what to respond to. All the shit that we are reacting to or think that we're responding to, like we actually don't need to be involved with. Right? Right? Sometimes we get into reactivity around certain things because it's easy, because it looks like we're busy, it feels important, but sometimes it's just bypassing the real shit that needs to be held and tended to, right? We intentionally react to certain things to keep us from touching other things, and we need to reverse that. We need to let go of reacting to the shit that doesn't matter and start paying attention to, responding to, touching the things that are really asking for care, for attention, to be tended to. So let's start here with our practice, right? So feeling the seat under you, feeling the earth rising to hold you, letting the body be, letting our breath be, letting our minds be. Noticing but not reacting. And again, like calling to the space the words from the Soga Rinpoche, right? Be not distracted. Be not distracted. Right? Plant the watchman of mindfulness. And for me, that first line, be not distracted, I just think that that is the I don't know, like the slogan for the moment, for these times. Do not be distracted. Right? Stay anchored in the moment. Stay anchored with the earth, with the body, with the seat, with the breath, with the mind. We stay anchored in the moment because this is the only way liberation happens, is the moment. We don't get free through the past, but we can get free from the past, right? But we get free from the past to arrive in the present, right? And we don't get free through the future, but we can get free from the future, which allows us to come back to the present moment. Right? It's like a three-story house. Like Yeah, the basement, right? You can be in the basement of this house, but there's no way to get out of the basement. In this analogy, obviously you need an escape and exit in a basement, legally. But in this example, there's no way out in the basement. You can tidy up the basement. You can feel good about the basement, right? And then once that happens, you can come up to the next floor. That's the ground floor. That's when we leave, right? And you may have an attic. We can call that the third floor, right? You can tidy that up, but you can't escape from the attic. You still have to come back down to that second floor, right? And that's the exit out. Right? So think about it like that. We can tidy up the past, which is a part of our healing, right? We can tidy up the future, which is like really working with anxiety, right? And worry and doubts, right? We can hold that, and then that allows us to come back to this moment, to what's happening right now. And we stay here, and we stay here by resting, letting go of the ways in which the mind is trying to slide us into the past and the present, or slide us into storylines and narratives that take us out of this moment. Noticing that, returning back. And the more you're resting and learning to rest in the moment, the more you're becoming aware of, well, one, the mechanisms that create, that sustain this kind of phenomenal aware, or this the phenomena itself. Mm. The ways in which you're always naming things and categorizing things and saying, oh, that's the table, this is the breath, it's cold. Like the ways in which you're constantly reinforcing, right, this phenomenal narrative, and even letting that go now. Not naming anything, not categorizing anything, but just experiencing everything. Right? Don't name sensation, but experience it. Don't name the breath, but experience the breath. Don't name the boredom or whatever arises as a mental experience, just experience it. And even here, whatever space we're experiencing, whatever clarity we're experiencing, this can be dedicated to any being, to any community right now. May whomever, right, experience this space, this clarity, this rest in this moment. And this is how the Buddhas work. This is how Buddhas create these pure realms, which are just, frequencies, I think, right? They're like kind of personal frequency, right? That's very spacious, very open, clear, right? It's the frequency of their radiance. And they have this capacity to flow this radiance, this frequency into the experiences of others. Or when we draw close to them, we begin to be embraced, by this frequency, this pure land, right? Essentially. The more we rest in this moment, the more we open up this frequency that others begin to tune into, that others are benefited from. So let's continue. Let's move even deeper. So when you're ready, bringing attention to your heart center, and imagining that in your heart center is a closed or the bud, a closed bud of your favorite flower, wherever that may be. We're going to sing this flower into blooming. And we're going to be using the opening mantra, the evoking mantra for our practice. Nila Sange Kino Soha. We're just going to chant this just, in our space, right? But I want to just kind of like chant it really soft, really gently, right? That you're like singing this to this flower, this closed flower in your heart center. But you're also singing this to yourself as well. And as we're going through, as we're singing, chanting the mantra, you'll slowly imagine that this closed flower bud begins to blossom. And in the blossoming of that flower, Medicine Buddha appears within the heart center. So as if Medicine Buddha is sitting on top of that bloomed flower. Like Medicine Buddha often does, and most of the Buddhists do, as they arise on lotus seats. Right? You don't have to imagine a lotus either. This kind of cliche. Do something different. It's been done. And that goes the same for Medicine Buddha as well, particularly for those of you who are new. When we imagine Medicine Buddha in the practice, it doesn't have to be this iconic Medicine Buddha that we see in our images, right? Let Medicine Buddha become an image, a representation, an expression that feels appropriate for you. Who or what is the ultimate or archetypal healer for you? That can be another person, that can be another being, or another spirit, whatever it may be. Spontaneously allowing Medicine Buddha to take whatever form feels appropriate to you in the practice, right? And if that form is the iconic representation of Medicine Buddha, that's fine as well. But don't force anything. Make it natural, make it easy. If you have the capacity, make it hot and sexy, but like maybe we don't want to go there. I mean, it is pride. Make it fun. But just allow whatever to arise in your heart center when that flower begins to blossom. That's it. So let's begin. Begin by just chanting Om, then we'll go into the mantra for how many ever times, and then we'll bring it to an end as we begin to transition deeper into the practice. Okay, so we'll begin. Om. Om Razange Kino Soha. 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 Kino Soa Om Zange Kino Soa Om Zange Kino Soa Om Zange Kino Soa Om Zange Kino And so this medicine Buddha, having awakened, appeared sitting or standing on top of this blossomed flower in your heart center. We begin to imagine that this medicine Buddha begins to radiate these healing blue lights. So this healing blue light, which is the traditional color of medicine Buddha, this healing blue light begins to radiate from our heart centers. Soft blue cooling light, and it is radiating actually throughout our whole bodies now. And a soft radiance is beginning this healing work, first in the past. That this light, this radiance from medicine Buddha is beginning to move through all our past hurt and woundedness. And it begins to heal these old wounds, offering nourishment and space and tending. Everything we've survived, everything, right, that all the maybe harmful or unskillful choices we've made in our past, that begins to be tended to and healed, that energy released back into emptiness. So going into the basement, essentially, of our homes and beginning to tidy up, to clear up, but through this healing, soft radiance of medicine Buddha. And just letting medicine Buddha do this work on your behalf of tending to releasing, clearing, cleansing. As we move into this first part of our practice, we turn to our main mantra, Teata Om Bekenze, Bekenze Maha, Bekenze Rasu Sumungate Soha. Like this, I pray for the end of pain and suffering, and the root of pain and suffering, and I release the energy of this prayer out to all the world so that we all may be liberated. May all the suffering be released. May all the suffering be offered back into emptiness, like water being offered back to water. And we begin. And you can chant along, you can just sit and listen, whatever feels natural, do that. But if it becomes too natural, you can go ahead and turn that camera off. Okay, all right, thank you. We begin. O te ata
Begin,
se ma begin rasu sumunga te so. Oh, it's already getting natural. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. O te ata begin se ma begin rasu sumunga te so. Te anda ma 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 razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. So let's shift our attention to the future, the anxiety, the fear, the worry about the future. And again, allowing this healing white, cooling blue, soft light to kind of flow into the future, healing, pacifying, resolving, clearing, whatever this energy needs to do, just let it do it. Right? Beginning to soothe our resistance against the future. We begin again. O Deada begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Deada begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Deada begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze ma begenze razı zumunga de zoa. Diana won begenze mabigenze razumungalezuha Teyanda umbigenze bigenze 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 mabigenze razumungalezuha Yanda Om Beganze Beganze Ma Beganze Razamangazoa 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 Yanda Om Beganze Beganze Ma Beganze Razamangazoa. Now, coming back to this moment, radiating this healing, blue, soft, cooling light into this moment for yourself. We'll get to others later. But for now, just like allowing this radiance from Medicine Buddha within your heart center to radiate throughout your body, right, throughout everything that's happening in this moment, and allow this energy, the blessing of the practice, to soothe, to calm, and to liberate what we're experiencing in this moment. And we begin again. Soha, Triana, Beganze, Beganze, Ma Beganze, Razamungan, Soha, Triana, Beganze, Beganze, Ma Beganze, Razamungan, Soha, Triana, Beganze, Beganze, Ma Beganze, Razamungan, Soha. Yanda Om Beganze Beganze Ma Beganze Razamungazoa 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 anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha te anda om begenze begenze ma begenze lasse sumangane soha. So staying exactly where you're at in your practice, in whatever space you find yourself in, I will begin offering our prayer requests, and as always, calling again the attention of all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all the Dharma protectors, all the beings of light, all the spirits who are concerned with our liberation and who are actively involved in helping us get free. We call you into this space. We come with pure intentions to be of benefit. And so we pray that we ask that you hold these prayers on behalf of our community, that you work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers, and at the same time blessing us with capacity to also bring about the fruition of these prayers at the same time. May our intentions and may our work come together into this ultimate benefit for all beings, including ourselves. Excuse me. All right. We'll begin by offering prayers for my family for clarity and peace, particularly for the dissolving of ignorance that they're filled with, the love that they didn't get enough of. Offering prayers for him that he can stop, rest in stillness, learn, grow, and open. Prayers for H as he finishes school and starts a new chapter and they become closer together. Prayers for G to find fulfilling, lasting, lucrative employment immediately. Prayers for a community of humans who are able to provide awakened care and tenderness. Prayers for financial abundance. Prayers for Tara's love and peace to encircle and fill the hearts of all who are experiencing loneliness and alienation. Offering prayers for health and long life for M and P. Offering prayers for Will at Christus St. Vincent in Santa Fe, offering prayers that we may all learn to relax in non-dualistic recognition, offering prayers for ALM and treatment for metastatic melanoma, prayers for KG undergoing another biopsy this week and starting a clinical trial for stage 4 pancreatic cancer, offering prayers for Dio, who is nearing the end with multiple sclerosis, prayers for all those suffering violence, illness, and afflictions. May they find comfort, healing, and freedom. Offering prayers for abiding in the calm center of my being and for the sending down of a deep taproot so I can remain here and or find my way back easily. Offering prayers that I get good paying job to support R and I as I work on more foundational changes for us. Offering prayers for the healing of our transgenerational wounds. Offering prayers that my trust in myself deepens, prayers for my safety and the safety of my friends, offering prayers for liberation of fears regarding sustenance, offering prayers for all my beloveds that their struggles yield fruit and that they are consoled in their heartbreaks, offering prayers for Claudia and for Charlene, the dog who was crossed over a week ago. When I finally contact with space and feel safe enough to rest, my trauma comes to scare me out of it. I pray for the gift of allowing that trauma to come and go without taking the bait. Offering prayers for ours appetite and agency around food and self-care to increase. Prayers for Barry and family for a speedy recovery. Prayers for the well-being and awakening of all. Prayers for HR undergoing surgery tomorrow. Offering prayers for myself during this cosmic transition. May I love and accept myself. Prayers for all those fighting for love. May we be resourced and focused. Prayers for Blessed Pachamama as she burns. May her children be safe and cared for. Prayers for all beings to be free. Prayers for physical healing for those in our community suffering in our bodies. Prayers for refuge for those of us who are suffering fear and anxiety. Offering prayers for safety and ease for the LGBTQ community, as pride means visibility and may trigger some woundedness in some people. Offering prayers to my incredible mama as she navigates Alzheimer's and a return to her child self. Prayers to myself as I pick up the journey she put down, locating my new and fearless voice. Offering prayers, may all world leaders and all those in positions of power be struck without delay by a heart-rendering understanding of and grief for the impact of their actions. May their hearts swell with overwhelming love, and may they be moved by a deep sense of responsibility and care for the people, the earth, and sentient beings. May we transform our obedience and complicity within these systems into medicine. May we all be brought to awareness as swiftly and gently as possible, and may our hearts be held tenderly as we grapple with the truth. Prayers for G, M, and S, along with all those under attack right now, to be safe, loved, and protected. May all trans youth find peace and support and be able to access health care. Prayers for my mom's health and healing, for M and R to experience healing and freedom. Offering prayers for M and her family in Gaza. May they be safe and able to obtain all they need, and may Palestine be free as soon as possible. Offering prayers to myself for improvements to my mental and physical health. Prayers for Bernard and Anya. May they be relieved of their suffering. Prayers for my father who passed recently and for my family navigating his loss. Prayers for M, C, K, and myself and others as we create distance from a group that was harming our well-being. Prayers for me, David, as I move energy, letting go of old stories that keep me stuck. May this healing be of my greatest good and the greatest good of all. Offering prayers that my narcissistic patterns be obliterated, and may I have the strength, grace, and compassion for myself, those I love, and all I encounter to heal and live with authentic expression and care. And I also ask that I have the capacity and inner resources to forgive myself. May all those I have harmed, especially Jay, be well resourced and loved divinely. Offering prayers of gratitude for my prayers last week and the space having been answered. Thank you to Medicine Buddha, the universe, and all my guides for helping me make it happen. Thank you to the Sangha for providing a space to pray when I need it most. Offering prayers for the Palestinian people and those in Gaza suffering so intensely at the hands of settler colonial violence. Offering prayers that my partner finds a job that meets all of our needs as soon as possible. Offering prayers for myself for clear guidance on my way forward. Offering prayers for L, who passed recently, and H, who is mourning her loss. Offering prayers for protection for myself and loved ones from any harmful energies being directed our way, and may they be guided away from us to where they need to be. Offering prayers for peace with the pain from septum surgery this morning, and that my body won't be so scared. Sending love and prayers to the Sharp family as Patty seems to be slipping into the bardo, wishing the process to be as swift and peaceful as can be for the family if and when Patty departs. Offering prayers for my friend M and her partner B, who recently had their eldest dog cross over the Rainbow Road over the weekend. May they feel resourced to tend the duality of grief of the passing and the joy of the life and memories they experience with their pup. Prayers for finding healing relationships within our communities, within my community's partnerships, and within myself. Offering prayers for letting go of distractions and accept the change and support I need from the universe. Offering prayers for the aide who had a car accident 2 weeks ago, leaving my home, that she is healing and supported. Prayers for my neighbors. He seeks a career to care for his young family. Prayers that my head, heart, gut, and womb continue to heal, and that I receive their teachings without suffering. Prayers for my son, that he may find the truth and self-love he needs to face the challenges before him. Prayers for my meeting with my friend Kit, whose partner Elaine is still missing. Kit is here for a visit with her family and having dinner together tomorrow night. May wisdom be gentle to what needs to be said or felt or just held. Prayers for Stacy and Jeanette, recovering from joint surgeries. Prayers for a new and meaningful ability to be able to actually rest. Offering prayers that our senators develop empathy and compassion, remove so many horrible and harmful aspects of this hideous budget bill, which will end the lives and hope of so many people if passes the way it currently is written. May they actually read the bill so they can know what's in it. Prayers that the treatments I'm experiencing for neuropathy takes hold and new healing neural pathways can take form for healing the lack of sensation in my feet and calves. Prayers for Diego Scooter, victims of violence in Gaza and Boulder. Prayers for a total, complete ceasefire in Gaza. Prayers for those experiencing loss and heartbreak. Prayers for people facing barriers to receiving gender-affirming care, that those barriers may be dissolved. May I tell myself and others the truth even when it is inconvenient or uncomfortable. May my beloveds all have what they need. May I have patience, alignment, integrity, result in abundance and connection. May I care and be cared for as much as I fight and I'm fought for. May I choose life. May I be free and protected from harm. May I find fulfilling abundance immediately. May I be safe and protected always. Please help me with my chronic pain and ADHD. Help me heal the anxiety and trauma of living in these times so I can help other people to the best of my ability. Offering prayers and medicine, Buddha, please cure the ignorance, hate, and delusions of hegemony from the hearts of all humans. May we are all interconnected and can make a pure land on earth if we choose love and wisdom. Help us all see the great love and life we all share. Medicine Buddha, please protect all BIPOC, trans, non-documented, and other targeted groups here in the U.S. Hold them in the palm of your hand and protect them, please. Please grant all members of our Sangha guidance, protection, and nurturing, and abundance. Please grant our teachers, including Lama Rod and Rachel Wooten, a long life and the best ability to keep touching and reach who they need to reach. Medicine Buddha, please heal the earth, our one precious home and only known place for human incarnation. Heal the atmosphere, the pollution, the fires, the abuses of wildlife, and to heal the land and sea. May all beings in all realms experience freedom from suffering. May all beings who are being mistreated in this world know that they are loved and cared for. May those in positions of power stop causing so much harm. May we rely on Medicine Buddha to help heal our hearts, minds, and bodies, to transform our suffering in this lifetime. May we be brave. I pray for my family to have love in their hearts, to continue to heal from the trauma we have experienced in this lifetime. Offering prayers for those on the civilian flotilla, Magdalene, carrying medicine and food, selling independently for the next 7 days to Gaza to try to break the siege during the genocide. Prayers for survival in the liberated Palestine and the healing of humanity. For the wounds that are deepening all over the world, bearing witness. Please, please. Prayers that I get employment where I am underworked and overemployed. Prayers that I get employment where I am underworked and overemployed. Prayers that Kaylee lives a long and healthy life. Prayers that extra activism, colonialism, and imperialism are ended. Prayers that we come together and respond to the ecological and climate crisis in a materialist manner. Prayers that we save as much as possible as the collapse unfolds. Prayers for Martha as she goes back into treatment. Prayers for all beings who struggle with addiction and obsession. Prayers for Megan and Gunner's baby comes into this world under the blessings, protection, and empowerment of Medicine Buddha. Prayers for activation of as many of us as possible into our contribution to ending imperialist violence and building a world where we all can be free. Prayers that I may commit to spiritual practice for the benefit of all. Prayer that I honor what my Saturn return is asking me to grow into. Prayer that my beloved and I trust love to guide the way back to each other. Prayers for discipline to rigor. Prayers for recovery in my brain and body. Prayers for my eyes. May delusion and codependence in me be obliterated, and may I embrace interdependence with fearlessness. Prayers for the human guidance and connection I need to support me in finding my way out of regression. Prayers of self-return, centering in my purpose, the overcoming of trauma that's currently keeping me stuck. Prayers for the healing, for forgiveness, and to those who I hold resentment for and wish to have connection and relationship again. Prayers for the harmony of my home and my roommates. Prayers for all to be free from fear and worry and greed that lead to violence. Prayers for reconciliation in my family, that we may learn to forgive and be around each other again. Prayers for the strength to move through the hurt of rejection and abandonment, and to be able to grow up in relationships through conflict and hardship, and to show up in relationships through conflict and hardship. Prayers for my mom, for her health and well-being. Prayers for my health and patience as well. Prayers that we may Have a good rest of our time in Ecuador, and a safe return where we may find our way with ease and abundance for what is next. As in Buddha, please protect and bridge those in Gaza, Sudan, and Congo, and all places where brutalization and oppression are exploiting and erasing precious life, love, and life. Prayers I may remember strength and clarity for navigating money in ways that bring health for myself and everyone around me. Prayers for E and M and T and their recovery. And offering prayers for Brian, who entered the Pardo on April 24th. May he be free, and may all those grieving him be held by the love of Medicine Buddha. We pray for the transition, the easeful transition of all beings entering, crossing over into the spirit world as well. We offer prayers for the complete abolition and eradication of all systems and institutions of violence. May all beings be free as quickly as possible. And may we all one day remember our most free and liberated ultimate self. May this happen as quickly as possible. So we turn our attention back to our mantra just for a couple of minutes as we begin to close out our session. We offer all these prayers to all of our sources of refuge to act on our behalf. And as we go back into our mantra work, we're just sending and offering this healing blue light from our heart centers and our bodies into this kind of field of prayer that we've created that begins to enliven and energize these prayers so that they come to fruition as quickly as possible for all those we have uplifted in prayer. And again and always, may these prayers come to fruition as quickly as possible. And we begin again. Ut eanda begenze begenze ma begenze razumungate soha. Te ana 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 begenze begenze suha Deyanda umbegenze begenze abegenze razuzumungate suha Deyanda umbegenze begenze abegenze razuzumungate suha. And so, returning our attention back to our heart centers, we thank Medicine Buddha and all the retinue that accompanies Medicine Buddha in this healing work. We thank all of them for this practice. We imagine that Medicine Buddha dissolves into the same blue light, and this blue light dissolves deeply into our bodies as a blessing of Medicine Buddha that's always accessible when we think about the profound lineage of the great healer. Noticing the seat under us, the earth rising to hold us, coming back to the body, to the breath, beginning to slowly reawaken our bodies through simple movements. We turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer in the chat, which we'll recite 3 times. We'll begin. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. I tell you what, there's nothing gayer than this. I tell you, I promise you, there's nothing as gay as this is. So we're gonna have a little dance out as well. You know, one of my favorite songs as well. As we kind of wrap up our time together. Thank you so much for your practice and for your prayers. Thank you for trusting this space, and most importantly, thank you for trusting the practice and the lineage and Medicine Buddha, you know, as well. Um, you know, we're kind of in the thick of it now. You know, this whole kind of like systemic collapse and apocalypse. We're kind of in it, right? And hooray for managing it, So this, like it's a very unique um, experience, and you are here for it, and um, yeah, and we keep pushing forward, we keep pushing on. It's like things may fall apart, things may be lost, relationships may fall apart, all of that, but we just keep pushing, we keep going, right? We remember our ancestors, we remember those who came before us, like all those queens of Stonewall who were like, fuck it. The first thing they got their hands on, they were throwing that shit. May we remember, I shouldn't say this, but may we remember everything can be used as a weapon, but also may we remember that, that you have a right to resist, you have a right to fight back, you have a right to say no. We all have a right to say no, and that we are not just working for our liberation in this moment, we're working for the liberation of our descendants, right? Right? Everything that we do has an impact, right, on the future. So look at what you're doing now. Look at what you're investing in. Look at how you're loving and caring. Look at how you're paying attention. Look at all of it, right? Know that like this is the long game. This isn't about seeing immediate results tomorrow. This is about like what's coming down the road in like years to come or centuries to come, well, lifetimes to come, right? Reflect on where you've been. And I know you may not remember, right, where you've been in terms of past lives, but like look at your life now. You can have a good sense of the effort and the labor you've invested in practice, right? To be embodied, right, in a human realm, to have access to the teachings, to be practicing, right? Like those are overwhelmingly good positive signs, right? No matter how hard it is, like it's hard for everyone. We're all struggling, right, to get free, right? But you've come so far, right? It's hard to understand, and I know you may not get that, but you've come so far. Like you have no idea how far you've come, and how long you've been at this, and how important it is that you keep going. May you become the medicine, right? That's the goal. Like may you flow freely and fluently, as a balm that heals all beings, that frees all beings from all suffering, from all violence, from genocide, from war, from famine, in the same way Medicine Buddha aspired to do, right, in all their past lifetimes, right? May you become the medicine for all beings, and as you become the medicine for beings, may they become the medicine for other beings as well. You don't have to do all this work by yourself. Like no one can save everyone, right? But we do our part. No matter how small it seems, we do our part. Right, so thank you all so much for your practice. I will be away for the next couple of weeks, taking a break myself, but I'll be back at the end of the month to close out Pride with you. And with that, I will, and if Eric has anything
Yeah,
else.
well, just thank you so much, Lama Rod.
Mhm.
Thank you. And uh, there's one line that I'm gonna butcher from the Salt Eaters, which talks about, those who know anything know it takes at least 30 hard praying grown people to make this work possible. And we got 80 or 90 like hard praying folks
Mhm.
together, and just want to say thank you all so much
Mhm.
for making that possible. And of
Mhm.
course, Amarad, just your leadership, your guidance. Thank you.
Yeah.
As always, friends, thank you for being here. If this practice and offering supports your liberation, please donate to help sustain it. It feels so small. It's like, yes, it's to help sustain Lama Rod's healing and work in the world. That's very pragmatically what the ask is, but it's just so much. It's Lama Rod's work and all of ours simultaneously somehow. And so just want to lift that up. If it feels good to donate, please do so. We promise to put it to good use for the benefit of all beings. And of course, the Medicine Buddha Quick Link stock is there as a resource to support your practice, or just if you got lost in link land, maybe there's some links in there to help you. All right, that's all from me. Thank you all so much for being here.
And just a reminder too, I see some Berlin folks in the space. I will be back in September to cause trouble, even more trouble than I caused last year. But that was like by mistake. I didn't realize I was being policed. Not that it would have done anything. I'm still show up and say whatever I'm going to say. But yeah, we're going to start that round of troublemaking all up again in September and see what happens again. Okay. Thank you all so much. And I will, and two, as this came up too, like if you listen closely, like if you learn to listen closely, like you can hear the ancestors praying for you. Like you can hear those prayers, right? You are being prayed for, right? You are being there's so much labor by the spirits happening on your behalf. And my only goal is for us just to recognize that and to offer appreciation and support for that. You know, you're not alone. And this is why we are praying, right? We want to connect to this experience of change and be active in the change. And we do that first with prayer, and prayer guides our actions, you know. But we start with this prayer. But yes, you are being prayed for, and to open to that prayer and let those prayers wash over you. Like when you feel most alone, allow those prayers to wash over you. All right, that's it. Well, thank you all so much. Until we meet again.